What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up and Chat. My name is BJ Mathews, aka BJ. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Spotify, Iheartradio, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, and Twitter, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Instagram, BJizzle. Follow my co-host Instagram, Rick Masters at RickMasters_23. Follow me on my Facebook, BJ Mathews. Follow him on his Facebook, Project Masters. Do our shows every single Sunday. Hit the notification bell on the subscribe button near our YouTube page on the top of the screen. Hit our, you know what I'm saying, got our shirts right here, the pull up. You know what I'm saying, $25 a pop, but let's get it popping. So, first off, everybody, I want to always thank everybody for coming on the page, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing to our page. We appreciate all the love. It's good comments, bad comments. We always go back and forth with people in the comment section. Run away from no smoke, right? We always interact with people when it talks about basketball takes. If I don't get to you right away, I'm gonna get to you at some point for the most part. If it's not too many comments, but I always appreciate everybody who's commenting to our show and stuff. So I feel like it's our responsibility to always give and respond back to people in the comments and talk. But with that being said, it's always the person that messes it up for every single body and will say something like off the wall and just be personal because the person doesn't like what I'm saying or what I'm trying to detail and point out with evidence and facts. They want to go below the belt and be unpersonal. So I got about 2 or 3 responses before I just leave that person alone and go to other people, because other people got other comments who actually want to talk about basketball, don't want to be personal or want to be sensitive because they're not hearing what they want to hear. So that's just, I want to get that out the way. But I want to talk about yesterday when we had a good show yesterday about Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Both had tremendous performances the other night. Joel Embiid had 50 and 12 against the Orlando Magic in a win, and Nikola Jokic had 49, 14 and 10 against the Los Angeles Clippers, which is my team. So let's kind of get into it before get started. Let's do it. All right, so check it out. I had chose Joel Embiid as the person who I would pick as the best big in the NBA. You got all these other bigs, Rudy Gobert, you got DeAndre Ayton, you have Karl Anthony Towns, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't consider him as a center, so I don't really care too much about him. Bam Adebayo is considered a center, so those are the guys who are like the second tier. But I'm pretty sure we can all agree that Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid are the 2 best bigs in the NBA, right? So I had chose Joel Embiid as the best big man for a number of reasons, but I think I have to re-explain some of my points because certain people in the comments were either not getting it or they were just trying to troll and try to get me to respond to their comments and stuff like that. So I'm going to do just a video again, kind of highlighting what I said. First thing I said, I want to say is Nikola Jokic, I praised his skills. I praised what he could do on the court, his vision, his passing as a guard, how he can shoot the outside shot, the soft touch around the rim, how durable he is, how much of a likable guy he is with his teammates. I gave nothing but praise. But when people don't agree with your person that you choose, they want to continuously want to make you change your mind with certain points and want to try to make you shame the other person. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to shame Joel Embiid to try to up Nikola Jokic. For some reason, people in the comments, certain people are talking about it's not even close between these two. Let me explain something. Very, very clear. I didn't explain this in the video. Point number 1. Last year when Nikola Jokic won his MVP season last year, which was deservedly so, let's keep things in context. Joel Embiid at the beginning of the season was the front runner of the MVP for a number of games before he got hurt with an injury. LeBron James was up there as well. They both go down in injury. Nikola Jokic was not talked about as the MVP candidate until towards the end of the season, because Nikola Jokic and LeBron James went down with injuries. The Denver Nuggets were the number 3 last year in the playoffs. So the Philadelphia 76ers were number 1 in the playoffs, right? So they had the better record, and Joel Embiid was talked about as being the front runner of the MVP. So what happened was Joel Embiid getting hurt opened the door for Nikola Jokic to come in and get that MVP award. But for some people, they don't want to mention that. They want to talk about how just Nikola Jokic won the MVP, but don't want to put things in context. So I don't know if you guys just forgot or y'all just don't want to point that out. But Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic is a close race. And I said it also, I don't have a problem with people picking Nikola Jokic over Joel Embiid if you're talking about injury prone. But as far as them both being available and them at their playing together, Joel Embiid to me does more for my team offensively and defensively, right? Joel Embiid came into the NBA as the first round draft pick and the third pick. Nikola Jokic came as a second round pick. Nikola Jokic wrote the bench for 2 seasons before he got shined in the league. He's been in the league for 6 seasons. Joel Embiid's been in the league for 5. Joel Embiid's been a force in the league since he got in the NBA. Joel Embiid has more accomplishments in a shorter period of time. He has more all defensive teams. He has more all stars. He has an all NBA, 3 all NBAs. Nikola Jokic has 3 all NBAs. Now, people wanted to make the point that Nikola Jokic has 2 all first team all NBAs, which to me doesn't make much of a difference from second all team because if you look at even last year, LeBron James had second all team, Kawhi Leonard had first all team, who's my favorite player. But it's not a big difference between Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James. They're still top 5 caliber players. You can put LeBron James last year as a top 5 player, right? So it's not a huge difference. All NBA means all NBA. Joel Embiid has better statistics than Nikola Jokic career-wise. Joel Embiid has averaged 25, 12, and 3. Nikola Jokic has averaged 19, 10, and 4. Nikola Jokic developed his game to be where he is now, so salute and respect to Nikola Jokic. But to sit there and act like Joel Embiid is not on the level of Nikola Jokic is just silly. And that's just more media narrative that a lot of people are listening to when they just want to say Nikola Jokic, Nikola Jokic, Nikola Jokic. I said also that I would rather have Joel Embiid guard Nikola Jokic over Nikola Jokic guarding Joel Embiid. Why? Because I understand Joel Embiid has just as much skills on the offensive side of the ball, and he's more athletic, which makes it more of a matchup problem. Vice versa, Nikola Jokic, who just mainly skills, who doesn't have much athleticism. He can't jump. He can't move like Joel Embiid. He can't get downhill like Joel Embiid. He needs to use his teammates. Another point I want to mention, the reason why he's such a good passer, which I give him credit for, he has to use other teammates to dominate the game. His IQ is cerebral, is great, but he knows, Nikola Jokic knows that he cannot just dominate with brute force like Joel Embiid can do that. I've seen Joel Embiid, he can pass the ball. He does have vision. Joel Embiid does have IQ. Even though he does stupid stuff, he does know how to play the game of basketball. He is somewhat smart on the court. But it's not something like Joel Embiid just can't do what Nikola Jokic do. Nikola Jokic cannot do what Joel Embiid can do. He cannot jump like Joel Embiid. He cannot move like Joel Embiid. He cannot play defense like Joel Embiid. So I don't know if people are not getting these points, or they're just trying to troll, or they're just a lot of, Nikola Jokic fans out there. I said it myself. I like Nikola Jokic. I respect what he's done. But I'm not going to sit up here and just act like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic are on the same level. So those are my 3 main points. Another point I want to throw out there is I brought up the 2020 playoffs between the Lakers and the Nuggets. And I said that Nikola Jokic, I feel you can nullify his game. Now, somebody told me that the 2020 playoffs, that was back then 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago. How about something recent? Well, I said, look at just the last week when the Clippers played the Nuggets in LA. The Clippers came back from 25 down in the second half because Nicholas Batum was guarding Nikola Jokic. A 6'9" athletic forward, like I said, was guarding Nikola Jokic, fronting him in the post, denying him in the post, and Nikola Jokic had a hard time scoring the ball. Not saying Nikola Jokic still cannot get some buckets, but it was a harder time for him to score. You cannot do that with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, if you try to get physical with him, or if you have a person who's athletic, he can match it with his athleticism. So that's my point. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said Giannis Antetokounmpo does he doesn't guard Jokic. You're right. I brought up Giannis Antetokounmpo because I said if Giannis guarded Jokic, Jokic have a harder time guarding him than the other way around. That's what I'm saying. But people want to make their point. People want to say what they want to say. They want to try to twist your words. It makes it seem like, oh, you don't like Jokic, even though I gave Jokic all this credit, and I said you can go with either or. People want to sit there and just try to change your mind. I respect people's opinions who actually come with facts, who actually comes with actual evidence. He doesn't have more accolades than Joel Embiid. He's not more talented by the eye test. He has not dominated the way Joel Embiid from the career part of his entire career. But if you want to talk about even now, Joel Embiid's averaging more points and they have a better record. And another thing, somebody came in the comments and would say, "Oh, Philly has such a better team than Denver." They're both missing their two best players, second best players, and their role players that are producing like Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, Tyrese Maxey. Those are all role players. Vice versa to Denver's role players, Aaron Gordon, who's been a leader of his own team, Will Barton, who's averaging 15 points, the same as Seth Curry, 15 and 4. And then you got Monte Morris, you got Jeff Green, you got Austin Rivers. You still got some guys who can shoot and play off of Nikola Jokic. So it's not a huge difference of how much help Jokic has from Joel Embiid. So it was kind of just getting a little bit pointless. I came on here just want to reevaluate my points, reemphasize my points. Again, anybody who has any comments in my comment section, I always appreciate it. I'm never running from no smoke. I'm never running from nobody's comments. I will answer whatever I can. If I can get to you right away, I can. If I cannot, I'll get to you later. But just keep it analytical, keep it evidence based, because I'm not going to entertain no foolishness, bro. Like, I'm not finna do that. They're both great players. I just prefer Joel Embiid over Nikola Jokic. But that's all I gotta say. Pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swimwear.